Hey, what's up, chat? It's Frankie. We're out here at the Indian Fair Market over here at the Herd Museum in Phoenix. We're just going to be walking around, talking to some vendors, hopefully hearing some stories from people all across Turtle Island. 2025 marks the 67th annual Indian Fair and Market for the Herd Museum by hosting over 650 talented Native artists from all over the U.S., Alaska Native tribes, and Canadians First Nations. They showed off some of their traditional heritage as well as contemporary artwork. Over the course of the two-day event, after speaking to many vendors, I was fortunate enough to hear about many different people's tribal practices, but I was also able to meet people furthering their indigenous community or another indigenous community to bring awareness to something that's happening that I feel like is important and needs to get heard. All right, hey, so we're out here with Benjamin West, photographer. If you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Benjamin West. I'm Oto Creek in Cheyenne. I'm originally from Oklahoma, but I'm in Florida now, Miami area.
And so we're going to be looking at some of his photographs and his art style. So if you want to explain this one.
Okay, so this one is called Walks Above. I created this because I have a nonprofit where I commission traditional textile artists within my community and kind of tell stories. And I commissioned this one in the 1800s. We had a chief named William Faw. He created 7 clans jackets, and they're now known as the Faw coats. They're kind of scattered around the country now, in prominent museums like the Met, Denver Art Museum, and such. So I reached out to his great-great-great-granddaughter, Tammy Faw, and we made these jackets. And after I was done with this project, it went into we donated them to the University of Nebraska Great Plains Museum. What's interesting about this picture too, about a year and a half ago, my tribe reached out to me, the Oto Missouri tribe, and said, hey, one of your relatives' peace medals is in an auction in Pennsylvania. And so I called the auction up and was like, hey, I'm a relative of James R. Kikita. Can I buy that medal back? They said no. They ended up auctioning it. I ended up buying it back for like $8,000. But I got it back. You know, it's important for us to get our things back. But it's what hurts is that, you know, our stuff is still out there too. You know, we gotta pay to get it back, you know. Yeah, so like what I do too is like augmented reality. I utilize the app, and then I kind of do art and animation within it and tell these stories. And this is the Return of Faw, kind of like off a play of the Return of the Jedi. And so they're looking for life right now. And in this episode, they go to this land and they find this old boarding school and they just burn it up. So cool, just kind of another way of storytelling. And so I try to put it in all my art, and if it's not in there yet, I'm getting to it.
You know, could you talk a little bit about this one? This
Yeah.
one won so many awards here at the Herd Museum.
Yeah, this is Betty. So I live in Florida, and Betty is Miccosukee, and she has the oldest airboat company in that area. It's called Tiger Tail Airboats, and the Everglades are beginning to flood every year because of the construction. The Everglades don't have any. The water's is just backing up. They're not flowing into the reservoirs anymore. It's just all the construction is kind of they're building over it. They're pumping out the water and they're putting dirt in there and they're building on top of it. And so when it floods, flooding, all that natural habitat like the turtles and the alligator eggs and everything there that's living there is flooding out and dying. And so it's really killing the ecosystem there. Yeah, so we entered into a contest. It's not for sale, you know. I want to tell her story, and so it won, and took a lot of ribbons.
All right, so we're here with Ruth. Ruth, do you want to introduce yourself?
Shumukshkandawayu, Ganhada Diptegu, Diwabgamis, Getlan, Galtsabu, Simshianu. I'm called Woman of the Cedar Mat, or Ruth Hallows in Gamasoamach in English. I am Raven Clan from the House of Gamach of the Gitlan tribe. I am Simshian. And I'm an artist and a weaver.
All right, so you want to talk about what's going on over here?
Yeah, I weave in both the Raven's Tail and Chilkat traditions of Northwest coastal people, the Tsimshian, Tlingit, and Haida people. This is a full-size dancing robe. When it's complete, it will be about my wingspan, just over 4 feet wide and 5 feet wide and 4 feet tall. It is a replica of one of the historical robes. There are 15 Raven's Tail robes in existence. They're all in collections in museums in Russia, Canada, Europe, the Penn Museum as well. And none of them are available for our people to dance in. So my mentor weaver, we weave together every week in a Zoom meeting because she lives in Juneau. I live here in Arizona. And one week she mentioned we should all weave them. So a group of 20 different weavers 24 weavers across the Tsimshian, Tlingit, and Haida nations committed to weaving as a collective to recreate all 15 robes. Between now, which is it's March now of 2025, and October of 2026, we're working together to weave all 15. The robe that I'm weaving, it's called the Skatens robe because it was collected from a man named Skatens. But there's an image of it here. This photograph was taken by B.A. Haldane, who is a Tsimshian photographer, an indigenous person who spent his life photographing indigenous peoples. It is the only photograph in existence of one of our Raven's Tail robes in ceremonial use. It is worn by a Siganim Hana'ach, or one of our matriarchs, and she's surrounded by her spokesman chief. This robe is in collection at the Royal Ontario Museum up in Canada. And my son and I are weaving it between now and October of 2026. We hung it a couple of days ago, and we started weaving on the first day of the herd market. In 2 days, we have woven almost an inch. This is 2 full days of weaving. And this part of the robe is space twined, where there's room between each row of weft. The rest of the robe will be compact, so it will take us twice as long.
For more information and updates, visit ravenstailresearch.com.